This is why no one talks about the death of Babe Ruth. The untold story, Babe Ruth, the Sultan of Swat, the Colossus of Clout, a name that still echoes in the annals of baseball history. But here's a mystery. Despite his legendary status, why does no one really talk about how he died? Welcome back, everyone. Today we're unraveling the little-known story of Babe Ruth's death, a topic that's oddly overlooked despite his larger-than-life legacy. In this video, we'll explore why the end of Ruth's life didn't capture the attention you'd expect, focusing on his illness, the era in which he lived, and how his legendary status might have overshadowed his passing. Stick around, and by the end you'll see why Babe Ruth's death remains one of the most under-discussed moments in sports history. Babe Ruth's name is synonymous with baseball greatness. Yet when he passed away on August 16, 1948, the world didn't react the way you might think. Why didn't his death make as big a splash as his life did? Today we dig deep into the reasons why the death of one of America's greatest sports heroes remains such a quiet chapter in history. Pause 3 What many people didn't know was the private struggle Babe Ruth endured during his final years. Away from the public eye, Ruth battled his illness with the same tenacity he showed on the baseball field. But this was a fight he couldn't win with sheer willpower alone. Pause 2S. Visits to the hospital became frequent, and the once larger-than-life figure was often confined to his bed. His wife Claire and a few close friends stood by his side, offering support and comfort. They kept the severity of his condition hidden from the public, hoping to shield him from the prying eyes of the media and the pity of fans. Ruth's decline was a stark contrast to the man who had once been the epitome of strength and vitality, making this chapter of his life a deeply personal struggle that was rarely discussed. Pause 2S. It was a time of great pain and reflection for Ruth, who had always been in the spotlight but now faced his greatest challenge in the shadows. This private battle added a poignant layer to his story, one that was known to only a few, but shaped the final years of one of America's greatest sports icons. Babe Ruth's decline began years before his death. Diagnosed with nasopharyngeal cancer in 1946, he faced a battle that no amount of strength or determination could win. Unlike today, cancer treatments in the 1940s were rudimentary and often more grueling than the disease itself. Ruth underwent experimental treatments, but the disease ravaged his body. By the time he passed away in 1948, he was a shadow of the man who once dominated baseball. This image of a weakened Ruth didn't fit with the public's memory of him as the invincible slugger, making his death a topic many preferred to avoid. People wanted to remember the hero, not the frail man he had become. The world was in a different place by the time Babe Ruth passed away. The late 1940s marked a period of transition. World War II had ended, and America was focused on rebuilding and looking ahead. New stars were emerging in sports, and while Ruth was still a legend, the world was ready to embrace the future. Ruth's death was covered by the media, but it didn't resonate the way it might have in a more modern, media-saturated era. Television was still in its infancy, and Ruth was a hero of the radio and print age. In a sense, his passing was almost overshadowed by the rapid changes of the time. People were eager for new beginnings, not reminders of the past. By 1948, Babe Ruth wasn't just a baseball player, he was a myth, a symbol of an entire era. His place in history was already secured long before he passed away. The world didn't need to dwell on his death because his legend had already been carved in stone. When we talk about Babe Ruth today, it's the home runs, the records, and that larger-than-life personality that come to mind. His death almost feels irrelevant because his life was so monumental. In a way, the silence surrounding his passing is a testament to just how enduring his legacy truly is. So why doesn't anyone talk about Babe Ruth's death? Because his life was so extraordinary that it eclipses everything else. Ruth didn't need a grand farewell. His legacy lives on, untouched by time. But perhaps it's time we give some thought to the man behind the myth, acknowledging both his triumphs and his final battle. If you found this video insightful, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the untold stories of sports legends. What are your thoughts on how we remember Babe Ruth? Let's discuss in the comments below. Pause 2S. As we delve deeper into the life of Babe Ruth, it becomes clear that his story is more than just a collection of home runs and championships. Ruth was a man of immense talent, but also of deep complexities and struggles. Pause 2S. One of the most touching moments in his later years was his visit to Yankee Stadium on June 13, 1948, for the 25th anniversary of the stadium. Ruth, frail and battling cancer, donned his iconic number 3 jersey one last time. The crowd erupted in applause, a final tribute to the man who had given them so many unforgettable memories. Pause 2S. This moment was a poignant reminder of Ruth's humanity, a stark contrast to the larger-than-life figure he had become. It showcased his vulnerability, his courage, and his undying love for the game. Pause 2S. Remembering Babe Ruth is not just about celebrating his achievements, it's about acknowledging the full spectrum of his life, including the battles he fought off the field. Pause 2S. So, as we remember Babe Ruth, let's honor not just the legend, but also the man who faced his final days with the same spirit that made him a hero on the diamond. Pause 2S. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the untold story of Babe Ruth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, let's keep the memory of the great Bambino alive in all its facets.